Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, and we are back with our guest, Stephen Dow from Velocity Mortgage. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, my friend. I'm doing fantastic. And yourself?
I'm doing great. So let's get that marketing thing out of the way first, and then we'll get into the hot topic number 3.
Fantastic. So again, although I work happily for Velocity Mortgage Capital, all the ideas and topics discussed on the channel are that of my own. And let's get it going.
Yeah, so what I want to talk about this third episode. So episode number 1, I talked about a deal I'm doing, purchase, great deal, 50% loan, awesome. Deal number 2, we talked about all the business and all the questions that ORAT family is bringing you. Topic number 3 is going to be the housing slowdown and why I think it's the creative buyer and acquisitions that will win. Because again, I think we're in a unique environment. Just in the last week, we've had conversations with days on market expanding. We've had agents talk about buyers disappearing. We've had price drops with people coming out at stupid prices and dropping them. So lots of exciting things going on in the market. But most importantly now, I think it's people that maybe frustrated landlords, people want to avoid high taxes. I think they can really partner with Velocity Mortgage and get creative. And one thing I want to just tease people with is you can actually have conversations around seller financing where Velocity Mortgage can come in for the first and then the seller could come in for the second. That could be a win-win because the seller gets cash now, the seller reduces tax impact, and you, the buyer, can get amazing yields if you do these right. So, Stephen, you agree with that?
I agree 100%. I mean, numbers don't lie. You just got to do the work, as you mentioned multiple times, on your channel, on your course. So it's really that easy. You know what I mean? So once you crunch the numbers, they'll tell you right then and there. So they don't lie. Having the conversation, kind of the most important because we won't know unless we kind of at least start off with the discussion.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things I want to talk about the strategy. So first, one rental at a time book, right? That's available on Amazon and Audible. Right. I was doing this 20 years ago, 17 years ago. In the book, I think it was my third property I talked about. It's on Ferris. It was, I'm going to forget the numbers, but it's all in the book. I think it was 140 grand. But I only had 10% because up until that point, it must have been my second property. I put 20% down on Norris Drive, and then I'm like, hell, I only got 10% left, but I didn't have the extra 10%. And I remember being nervous. I was going to lose the deal. It was a great deal. All these things were stressing me out. And I remember my agent at the time going, why don't we ask the seller if they'll take back a second? I had no idea that was possible. I'm like, what do you mean the seller can take back a second? What the hell is this? But yeah, it's a strategy I used, I don't know, 18 years ago. And at that time, I just asked them to take back 10%, which was the first time. I was so nervous, but they were happy to do it. And since then, I've done deals with the seller taking back as much as 50%. Because again, you never know what the seller wants. Maybe they want a little cash now for a vacation, but then they want income later. So again, don't be afraid to ask. Right.
I mean, you won't know. And of course, if it's a win-win kind of setup to where if you're structuring it, like you said, less capital gains hit because they're now able to just take, small chunk up to 50% or what have you. I mean, we allow up to an 80% CLTV. So any combination to where you're at least putting 20% down. So if you want to do, 50% LTV on the first where you get the best rates and the seller covers a 30% second to where, they get a good chunk, but then finance the 30%, you come in with the remaining 20, that works out perfect. I just want
to ask this, is just jump in my head. So in theory, not only could we do 50% first, but in theory, we could do 40-40, right? You're 40% first and the seller carries back 40% in theory, because you got to be under 80%, right?
Right. Correct.
Yeah. And the other thing I would tell you about seller financing today. So back in 2000, and I'm going to guess what year it was, 4 or 5. I think I paid 7% on that seller second. Because again, I had no idea. Let's also not forget firsts were 6.5 at that time. Today, I've actually paid as low as 1% on seconds today. So again, you don't have to pay crazy rates.
Right. Was it a HELOC or what was it on?
No, the second was just a seller second. Just a seller second.
Okay. Oh, the seller second. Yes. Okay. Sorry. the Wi-Fi is not as good. I might need to upgrade.
Yeah,
like you just
now it's on
mentioned,
your
because
side.
It's starting to kind of cut in and out, so I apologize. Yeah, I know, it's all me now.
That's hilarious. But yeah, one of the things I really think I think is going to happen is seller financing. A lot of, again, it's in the course. We talk about it all the time. I have an accountant, a CPA, Bob
Right.
Langworthy, that talks about it. Understand how you get a, what is it called? It's called a installment sale, where they can recognize
Right.
taxes only on cash received. It's a way for them to keep their taxes below different tax thresholds. But it's not only, people talk about seller financing like it's the first. That's great. Believe me, if I can get a seller first
Right.
with 1% loan for 30 years,
Right.
I'm taking it. But you can also have a second. And I think that's most people don't
Right.
understand. Do the second.
Right.
Yeah.
So it allows you to then have to put less money down, and then of course, from the seller standpoint, they at least take a little less of a tax hit, like you said. So you just never know unless you make the offer. But either way, it creates other options given certain circumstances that you never know that might motivate the seller to be able to say, okay, yeah, I can do it now because I really want to get out, but I was trying to avoid the tax hit. So this is a nice creative way to try to meet both ends.
Yeah, I really think more and more people need to play with this, right? Because again, it's nice to talk seller financing if they're willing to take the first 5% down, 95% loan,
Right.
all it's great. But I think you should also add to your bag of tricks the second, right? Velocity mortgage or other non-QM first and seller second. Because again,
Right.
they get some money now, they can party now because lots of sellers are burned out. They want to do something, but they don't need all of it, right? They don't need all of the cash. I think organizing a seller second is a great idea. So thank you for bringing that up.
Oh no, my pleasure. I mean, there's other, plethora of possible deals that I've talked about with the Orat family, but that'll be a much longer episode. So I'm trying to narrow it down. And it's funny, I keep looking up because I'm actually replying to emails from deals from the Orat family right now. So apologies, I've got a couple of people I got to call back as soon as we're done with these episodes. So again, I'll be talking to you guys soon.
Exactly. Well, do me a favor. How should people reach out to you? Because again, what I would tell people after today's episodes is just call them up. Worst case, it's a plan B. It's always good to have a plan B. So how do you want them to reach out?
Email initially, just so I can kind of see if what their scenario or what they're requesting is within our wheelhouse. It'll save them the extra phone call or whatnot. And I try to manage that much better because as soon as I'm off the episodes, I get pretty buried with either phone calls or emails. But other than that, sdow@velocitymortgagecapital.com, or excuse me, my apologies. That's the name of the company. It's sdow@velocitymortgage.com. It's below us down here. So just trying to multitask, but I forgot. Yes, definitely sdow@velocitymortgage.com.
There you go. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate your time. Have fun. Go help the Orat family. Take care.